4th, 2021. We call the meeting to order. We have invocation by Mr. Verret and pledge of allegiance.
Lord God, thank you for bringing us all here tonight, this evening. Help us have the work of the people done efficiently. Help us get a lot accomplished. Work together. Keep us all safe. In your name we pray.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have roll call, Thomas here. Mr. Verret is here. Number 3, we have the public comment period. Anyone wishing to speak on any item, sign the card and give it to the secretary. Number 4 is accepting the meeting minutes of August 5th, 2021. Motion by Mr. Verret, second by Mr. Thomas. Any discussion? Any objection? No objection. The minutes passed. Number 5, Chairman report, announcement. First thing first, this has been a long time coming for our meetings. We haven't had a meeting in maybe a couple of months, I'm sorry. But I do want to thank you all for coming and appreciate you all coming in. Also, I want to recognize City Councilman Mike Sullivan from the city of Donaldsonville, and also Mr. David Warr, Mr. Gregg, Mr. Perkett Turner, DPW guys. Again, we're very thankful to be here tonight. To get started tonight, I want to talk about in the chairman's report. Chairman's report, I want to touch base on the storm debris. We had a lot of trees that fell and a lot of homes, so to speak, that was damaged. But the things I'm really concerned with at this point is the checking of the canals, checking of the Bayou, Verret. Wanted to know if there was anything done in that aspect of us going out checking those places. Mr. Turner.
Yeah, well, we had got a report that they were going to be
Come to the mic.
Yeah, we had got a report on that they're going to be flying a drone over all the canals to see if any trees down and anything, and they'll get back with us and let us know how many trees they found and which canal that they was found in.
Okay. Were there any reports on any flooding anywhere such that we should be of any concern?
Well, we really didn't get any reports on anybody's house flooding or anything like that.
Okay. So the other thing is the debris. How is that going?
Well, we've picked up the last debris that we know of on Highway 1 this morning. We had a list and we went over everything on the list and everything was picked up. We finished up today.
Okay, in coordinating with with OEP, was that pretty smooth?
Yeah, it was.
For us dealing with the city and parish.
Yeah, it worked. Everything worked out pretty good.
Working things out, working in with the city.
Yeah, the city helped out a lot.
Making sure everything was in order.
Yeah.
Everything worked out pretty good.
Yeah, everything worked out good.
Okay. The only other thing I had was the Bayou, Mr. Acosta and Uso Road, the ditch. I did make a sweep through that area.
Yeah,
That was one of the areas that was really, had a lot of trees, a lot of branches and a lot of stuff inside the ditch.
Yeah, we got a work order we're gonna put in to clean out the whole Uso Road. And when we went down to Acosta to pick up the trees, we just swept it out while we was down there.
Okay. One other thing I have is Cotton Drive. What's the status on that? How far are we with that?
What you meaning with the tree?
Yeah, with the tree.
Yeah, we removed the tree.
Moved it?
Yeah, we removed the tree.
Okay, anything, Mr. Robert?
Just, wanted to reiterate what Coach said. I'm glad that y'all got all the pickup and got all the situation from the storm handled in a timely fashion. Always good to hear that none of our constituents on this side flooded, took in water. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, we work hard doing it. Short crew, but we got it done.
We definitely like to, again, we didn't have a chance to because of the meeting situation. I'm very pleased and very happy the work that DPW did in coordinating with OEP in working with the city of Downsonville and so also the parish of the outside areas other than the city. You all did a great job, and things are looking a whole lot better than what it was a month ago. So I would ask that you all keep up the good work, keep working hard, and looking forward to doing some great things. Next thing I have is I have Mr. Jofion to come up and
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach, for the opportunity. Prior to me purchasing this property where I reside, which was before 1995, a culvert was buried perpendicular to Highway 1, about 150 feet. It drains about 2,000 feet of Highway 1, and it drains it to Bayou Lafourche. The problem is it drains it too well. With the historical rainfall that we've had, the water rushing through this culvert where it empties into Bayou Lafourche is eroding my property and my neighbor's property. What I'm requesting is for DPW to extend that culvert one more section, maybe 20 feet, which would allow the discharge to flow closer to Bayou Lafourche rather than take in our property as it flows past.
okay. In looking at the, I went out to check on the property and looking at the ditch, the culvert that we have there. I would ask that I would make a motion to get DPW to allow Mr. Jofion to get with DPW Regina and look at the scope of it and to have that extension done with all legalities passing the test, so to speak, and get with Miss Regina, and we'll go from there, Mr. Jofion.
Thank you.
So you want to, you're making a motion to
To
move forward for the parish to extend the culvert?
Right.
If possible.
Right.
Which, I mean, as long as we get right away and all
Yeah,
that stuff,
exactly.
we shouldn't have a problem. Yeah, I'll second that.
So there was a motion to extend the pipe from the
I guess to pay
property,
for it, yeah.
and there's a second by Mr. Robert. Any discussion? Any objection? No objection, motion passed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, we have, I'd like to look at Mrs. Preston Lane. Mrs. Patricia, Ms. Diggs. Come forward, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just want, what sewer is staying in the, cupboard. You saw what's going on there, and the water is still staying on the lane. The mosquitoes are still bad. So I would like something done. In my driveway, it hasn't been fixed.
And you say your driveway hasn't been fixed, meaning,
Okay, they put the cement down, and they didn't extend it from the cement to the road.
Mhm.
And I'm saying, every time it rains, the sand in front of the cement, it goes down and down and down. And the cupboard right by my house, sewer sits in there. It don't sit to the end of the lane. Something isn't done right
Who
there.
did that?
Huh?
Who left the concrete not filled all the way to the road? Who was supposed to do that?
The parish has somebody.
They
to
dug
do
it up, or
Huh?
what happened?
The parish has somebody to do that when they put the cupboards down.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy.
well, what I'd like to do is have Mr. Waugh come up and give us some insight on exactly what we need to get done and try and get this behind us and moving forward. David, if you don't mind speaking on behalf of it.
Want me to sit or stand?
You can sit by.
You can stay there. Stay there, Miss.
Okay.
Like, yes, sir.
I sent Glenn, what's Glenn's last
Price.
name? Price. I sent Glenn Price down there to add those 6 inch all the way to the road. I thought they had done that.
Why wasn't it done?
To my understanding, because I'm not in the DPW anymore, but I had lined that up for him to go down there and do it. And he said, yeah, I'm going
Well,
down
I'm
there and
just
do
saying,
it.
I know they didn't just tear up 6 inches, right?
No, they
So somebody
didn't
had to
go all
go
the
in there
way.
and pour less than the full.
He was supposed to go back down there, Joel, and pour the other 6 inch all the way to the blacktop. But
Why didn't he pour it the first time?
I don't have any clue
Yeah, you
why,
don't
but
do
he
that.
wanted to fix that. So he was going down there and poured a 6 inch, 4 inches deep. I mean, that would have worked, but.
No, it doesn't work if you don't go all the way to the blacktop.
Yeah.
You just tear up the
But that's
concrete
not
that you
the
just
only
put down.
problem. That's
What
not
else?
the only problem.
Just a
The
minute,
water,
Ms. Diggs.
I'm sorry.
So that fixed the problem. I get that, Joe. He should have went all the way
Who
to
is
the
this
blacktop.
doing the work? Is it the contractor or the parish?
Yeah, it's a contract.
Who's the contractor? Who?
Green Gable, Green Kingdom is, name is,
Well, they need to be contacted, and something needs to be done immediately if they ever want to do any more
we
work
did
for us.
that, Joe. And I understand that they stopped him from pouring that 6 inches, concrete there.
Now, you
Who
said
stopped
they,
him?
who
Who
was
stopped
they?
The residents, I guess they did. That's what I understood.
That
They
doesn't
wanted
make sense.
blacktop instead of the concrete, but, we had lined him up to go do the concrete, which would last a lot longer than the blacktop, would extend it to the blacktop.
Do
So,
you know what he's talking about, man?
Yeah, let me,
No, I
Okay.
didn't stop anybody from doing anything.
all right, hold it, just hold it a minute.
I got that
This-
from Glenn.
Yeah, okay. At this point, the 6, you said 6 inches or
I think it's more than 6
it's
inches.
more than 6 inches,
Yeah,
okay.
more.
Whatever it is, we need to get somebody to go and finish the job. Now, from what I'm hearing, and I'm not for sure, and David mentioned it, that someone stopped them from doing it. I did hear that. I'm not sure, did they do it or they did not?
They
So-
did not. That's
okay.
my property.
Okay.
My name is the only one on that
Okay.
property, and
All
I
right.
would be the only one
Okay, no,
who tell
all right.
them don't do it.
Okay, no problem. So we'll take care of that,
Okay?
okay? Now, the other situation that you're talking about,
I got one more question about the concrete.
Go ahead.
Also with the person that poured the concrete, have we paid them yet?
Have we what?
Paid?
But he's willing to go down there and finish the job.
We paid him before he finished the job?
Well, apparently he thought that was good enough, but apparently, he was short. But Man said he was going down there to fix
Thank
it.
you.
He been down there twice already.
Thank you, Mr. Wow.
Now, the other part?
Yeah.
Okay. On the sewer part, they closed the ditch in. Now, we're not in the sewer business, okay?
Mhm.
I never went down there to look to see where or if they tied the tail lines in on the sewer, and it has to be tied into a concrete catch basin, okay? So I don't know if that's the problem or not.
Which tie-ins? Recent?
Well, whenever you run Joel, out in the country, they still have.
No, I understand. I'm saying they just did work on it, and you don't know if they tied it in, or?
Yeah, well, that's not our job. And according to what I'm understanding, seeing the tail line on that, right?
The tail line was tied in, that's why the catch basin was put there, to tie the sewer line in.
Yeah, well,
She has more of information than I do if you want.
so this was a new project?
This was going on when I got here.
So this was done within the last year or two?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
done in April.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we need to make sure that's tied in correctly, or whomever, and you said it is?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if there's another line down there, and if there is, then it's not our job to tie that other line into the line that's into the catch basin right now. That would be, they'd have to get a plumber to reroute that line to tie in. If that's the case, I don't know.
No, but it's our job to make sure that whomever's tail line it is up to code and tied in. We're not the ones that need to do it.
Yeah,
But
well,
we
they'd
need
have
to
to
make
get a
sure it's
permit for a plumber to go down there and do that.
Well,
That's, yeah,
cut off the water until they can do it. I mean, it's that simple. You can't have
Yeah.
sewer going straight out into the
ditches.
ground, ditch.
All right, Ms. Diggs, were you saying something else?
Yes, the water that sits on the property, when it rains, it sits there a couple of days, maybe even a week. And I'm saying it's not draining. When we was first told a catch basin was supposed to go on the other side, they happened to put one on the other side instead of putting one where they said it was going. Where they didn't put it, that's where the water sit. And I'm saying they put the dirt up high so the water could sit over there, but the pipes came up, the covers came up off the pipe. I have pictures of all that. My phone is dead, but I have pictures of everything that happened.
So, Ms. Virginia, could you come to the mic here? Give us some insight on how far we are and what is it that we need to get done and to get this, because I'm pretty much I'm pretty much need to put this situation behind us and move forward. And
Okay.
whatever needs to be done, we need to, on our responsibilities, on our part, whatever it is that we need to do, we need to get it done and put it behind us.
Okay, so they got Christian to come out. Christian ordered 15-inch covers in there. When we were closing the thing in, because they were already doing it, she was informed that her yard was lower than the ditch, than what they were putting in. That's where her fall, that was what drained her property. The deal that she made with David did not include catch basins. We tied in a metal cover to a plastic cover, which required a catch basin. I put the order in for the catch basin. We put the covers down. The next day when we went back, somebody put a sewer tail line there. So we had to pull the covers up, put a space in there to put a catch basin because the line wasn't there the day that we was doing it. Somebody put an extension on it and extended it out, and it was over like by the cupboards. We pulled the covers up, put a space there to put a catch basin to tie the sewer line in with what we were doing. Everything was put down. The covers did come up because they didn't have enough dirt. We went back and we bound the covers down. Her yard, the way her yard is, one spot of her yard is too low, which I informed her of that when we did it, because that's where her fall comes at, where the water drains off at. Like I said, I stepped into this. It was already being done when I got there. David tried to do what he can to fix the issue they had with them. The issue was they were pouring cement in blocking the sewer. That's where the problem originated from. Putting cement in the sewer. David tried to help them out. So moving forward, if it's still an issue, we can dig it up.
Okay.
That's the only alternative that we have as far as what can be done on Preston Lane. Where the pole is at, where her yard dips down and it drains off, she had a flow on it already. So when you obstruct the flow of water, that's what it does.
Okay.
So we can dig it up.
Go ahead, Regina.
We can dig it up and bring it back to the original form of an open ditch.
Okay.
That's originally what it was. It was an open ditch.
So your recommendation would be what? What would be your recommendation?
My recommendation
Moving forward to get
moving
things
forward
in order.
would be to give them an open ditch, bring it back to the original form. Before we put the covers there, you wasn't holding water, right?
We wasn't not holding water.
I informed her.
All right, Ms.
The
Davis,
dirt
so-
was put too high on there. If it would have stayed how it was, I don't think that dirt would have helped. And the original plan was to put a catchment basin there instead of putting the first one or the last one in the lane. Instead of putting one there, one was supposed to be put by my house and one was supposed to be put on the other side of the house. And when she came, she put the catch basin on that side and one by my house. And I'm saying you can see it's not draining how it's supposed to drain. If water is draining, they shouldn't have water sitting in this catch basin right here and no water on the end right there. So it's not draining properly at all.
The main highway 405 need to be dug out. That's really what the problem is.
Okay.
The main highway need to be dug out. The water is sitting. Once it gets to that point, it has nowhere to go. That's a state highway.
And that stayed out, yeah.
Yeah. The original plan, the deal that she made with David, the paperwork that I showed you, there was nowhere implicated in there that David was putting a catch basin in on the property. You only can go so many feet with putting the catch basin, and that's why they were added. When I got there was no catch basin.
Okay.
They were supposed to put two with the original
Can
plan.
you step up?
And they told us that,
I've got
every
some
so
questions
many
for you.
feet,
Okay, I ain't going
a catch basin was supposed to be there. And I'm saying we bought 6 or 7 cupboards. I don't know how many, but we personally paid for that. And they say, I think every 60 foot, a catch basin was supposed to be there. And I'm saying it goes from where it starts at in my yard all the way to the end, and another catch basin is not there. But that's what we were told. I don't have paperwork. I don't know if so, but they told us
Yeah,
the
well,
catch basin's supposed to go every so many foot.
that was my next question was the instruction and the order on the paperwork, what was supposed to be done. And I would think that we were supposed to follow that out and do just what that paperwork is saying,
The only
not
paperwork,
alter from anything else.
okay, the only paperwork that I signed was for them to dig my driveway up and put it back down. To me, that's my only knowledge of what I signed, for them to dig it up and put it back like they got it.
And that's exactly right. And I didn't authorize to put any catch basins in at all.
He may not have authorized, but he told us where 2 would go. He did tell us where 2 catch basins would go.
I wrote everything down that we were.
Can we back up a second? How big is this area that's holding the water in your yard?
If I can turn my phone on, then
If you could just give me an idea.
maybe 50 by 20,
So maybe like
maybe.
the area where those chairs are, back there, maybe?
It's from the end of that wall, maybe to right here. And it goes as far back, and it depends on the rain.
So it's like a swell right there that just doesn't drain, is what you're saying?
Yes.
So,
just sit there
I mean,
until it dries.
what sounds the best from what I'm hearing on everything is like Regina's saying and like we're saying to do, and what you asked for in the beginning is repair the driveway how it should be, go back to an open ditch. Because when you have the property like you're
Wasn't no
saying,
water.
you have a big swell in there without putting the catch basins, and then on top of that, that swell has to go into the catch basins. Okay, so you're creating a lot of work, and then you don't know what you're draining where. So, I mean, the simplest way to do it would be to do the open ditch. Or you could put dirt in your yard. You could do all kinds of things like that. But if you didn't have the problem before that, let's pull them out. Fix the driveway correctly.
I have a couple of pictures I can show you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Because, I mean, essentially, if you don't have a catch basin on your property's not draining in the ditch.
It's not
It's
at
just
all.
sitting there.
It don't have any way to
That's what I'm saying.
go
So
in the ditch.
you don't have a ditch right now.
Yeah.
So you'd be better off with the
Don't
ditch.
have a ditch, neither a
Okay, so
catch
this is
basin
the-
right there.
This is them putting,
What are the pictures of there?
that's them putting cement in the ditch, blocking up the ditch. That's how all of this started, with sewer. The sewer was backing up in the residents'
So,
homes,
so who put shit cement in the ditch?
the resident right there. And that's another picture of it backing up. Okay, so this is where we dug it up. We cut her driveway and dug it up. This, part of this, like I said, was done when I got here. So this is her driveway. So I'm gonna show you, this is where the culvert came out all the way to the road, 255 feet. So, I'm sorry, we was in traffic. I'm just trying to give you an idea. So this is her yard right here. She already had a fall on her yard with the ditch open, which drained all it off of it. Once you put the covers in and you put the dirt, and I informed her when we were doing that this was gonna block up her flow of her water. The paperwork that David, so this is one of the catch basins right here. This one of the catch basins, and this is the gap where, they had left, they didn't go all the way to the road with it. That's the gap for them to fix it. And this is the other catch basin that was put down. And as you can see, it's not on top, so the rain and whatever can flow into the catch basin.
Where, are these catch basins in her yard?
Yeah, they right here. Well, this is right here. This is where
The
her
other
yard
one
at,
is
where the
not
part
in
at.
her
This is the 15 inches, the smallest requirement that the parish require that was put in on her property. And this is the dirt, is a small film of dirt that we put enough to cover it, and we bind them down with,
Could we just take out the culvert where
we could.
take out one culvert,
Well,
or so many feet of the culvert and have open ditch, and then,
well, I told her that before.
and then she can have the rest of the culvert stay there?
But the rest of the covers go all the way to the road.
Well, you said like 200 and something feet of culvert, right? But what I'm saying is the only part that's not draining, say it's 50 foot wide,
We offered,
take out 50 foot of culverts and leave them out.
we offered that to her. But the paperwork that she has with, David, there's nowhere written on the paperwork that she and her sister signed stating.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I'm just going back to, is there an issue with taking out just that section of culvert with you? And you'll still have the rest of your culverts on your property?
That's fine if it'll drain.
And it will drain if you take that section out, that way it can flow to the ditch. Well, that's what
Yeah,
she's saying
okay.
she wants to do. Yeah, I think
She
that would
may
work
have
out the best.
offered it to me, but I didn't understand it.
Yes, ma'am.
I did not understand it.
But that way you can keep the rest of your culverts and you don't have to have a full ditch the whole way, just that 50-foot section.
Okay,
so.
can I show you what happened with the covers?
Yes,
on my
ma'am.
phone?
Are you talking about them floating up?
Yeah.
Yeah, she said they're gonna fix
Okay.
that. Yeah, they'll take care of that.
No, they floated it up and they put it back down. And what happened is that they put more dirt on there than, it was too high. It even covered the water meter.
It was the same dirt. We
Yeah.
just
And
peeled
bond-
it back and bind them
You
down.
do that whenever you put a culvert in, and then it's gonna settle down because the culvert's draining the water. You're good with that.
Okay.
And you're gonna make sure it's the right level, make sure it went down? Yeah,
Well, all we're gonna do is peel it back and just cut that section off.
that's it.
Yeah, and leave that part
And
open.
if for some reason the culvert's not draining at that point, that would be a deal, but I mean, it's gonna be higher.
Okay,
And the
so-
ditch will
so
never be
nothing
dry.
should
No.
sit in there, right?
It's a sewage ditch. It's never gonna be dry.
Yes.
It was dry before. It was dry. I used to cut the ditch, and it was dry.
All right, Joe, Mr. Diggs, we're gonna finish the driveway, finish that, and the covered, and what she's saying we're gonna do, we'll
Okay,
take care of that.
okay.
And,
Okay, now,
there's
I don't
anything-
want it done if it's gonna have sewers sitting
no,
in front of my house.
no, you'll be fine.
Okay, all right,
All right.
all right, thank
Any
you.
other
We can't-
questions?
We can't control that part.
Well, no, and I mean, that's gonna be what it is.
Yeah, it's on grade. The whole thing is on grade. All we can do is dig it back and cut a section in it where the water can drain.
That is perfectly fine, Mr.
But if
Diggs.
that doesn't work, we can always go back to the original form of digging the covers up.
And I think if that would be the situation, then that's what we'll do. All right?
Okay, that sounds fine.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you, Regina. Okay, the next thing I have, I'd like to add to the agenda the McCreed contract not to exceed 45,000, the LWY in the second round. I'd like to add that to the agenda. David? Yeah. Come on. Add that to the agenda, yeah. I'll make a motion
Yeah, well-
that we add that to the agenda.
I'll make a second, we gotta vote on that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any objection? Any discussion? No objection, no discussion, motion passed. Thank you, David. Okay, David, you can come back up. Come on back.
Okay, just to update y'all where we at with the Louisiana Watershed Initiative projects, the Bonadonna Catawga project. We working all of the items that OCD is requiring us to meet in reference to their requirements for the grant. It's taking some time to do that. We also lining up to try to do environmental impact study, what they're asking us to do on that project, and also the Bayou pump project. So we're working those two right now. On the second round, which we needing this help on, we are putting in around 13 projects in the second round for the Louisiana Watershed Initiative, which covers all of the major canals in the parish, okay, in reference to cleaning those out and getting those out. Now, we're going to be trying to also work with the surrounding parishes, Ascension, St. James, and Iberville Parish, since all our major canals go through and discharge out into the surrounding parishes. We have a lot of the work that we found that's already done in reference to the profile of these canals. So we're a little bit ahead of the game in reference to all of the information that we need for all of these projects. There's a few of them that hadn't been done, that wasn't looked at, and I think it was 2011 that we had a grant to profile all of these canals, but there was a couple that I think should have been in that package that we're putting in to profile them in reference to seek funds for the cleaning all of these canals. So I've talked to Assumption guys and Iberville. I hadn't talked to St. James yet, but I talked to those two guys in reference to what we're trying to accomplish here, and in discussion of looking downstream from us. If we clean it upstream and it doesn't have anywhere else to go once it gets into their parish, is something that we together have recognized that we need to look at it all together and see if we can accomplish addressing those canals going all the way through from Ascension through Iberville, through Ascension, and through Assumption. And we're also in the discussion with them. Once we send water downstream to them, what is the discharge on the downstream from them? So we're in discussion of all of that and seeing how that's going to work out. And so it's going to take us some time to put those things together. We need some help, from some engineers and helping us do some studies in reference to that. Also, some more profiling on these other canals. We also have some detention ponds that we're also going to look at the same time. One, in Iberville, in Aben and Lemonville area. One in the Bruley area, and one towards LA 70. So we're going to look at those three areas also and try to get some input and see what we can do in reference to holding water during these big rain events, to don't send so much of it downstream from us. So, that's been a lot of discussion with the Louisiana Watershed Initiative from parish to parish in reference to seeing if we can get them to also look at that and holding water in some types of retention ponds downstream from us. So, and that's pretty much all I have. Any questions?
Any questions? Mr. Robert?
Thank you for throwing that detention pond in that A-bend area for me. I think that's going to be a huge help. Also, I think it would help the whole situation if the other parishes went along with that. Keep up the work of what we need to do. Is there anything that we need to do as this board to move any of these projects further? Are we looking at engineering in any of them or what?
Appreciate it, yeah. Y'all providing us with the funds to move these projects further along to see if we can, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. We have so much money out there to reach out to. I think we need to really take advantage of that in reference to cleaning out all of these major canals. Yeah. I took a ride last Friday with an individual that knows some things out in the Brule area, and you can see where a lot of that stuff, the dirt has fluffed off. So we lost a lot of volume in reference to, stuff that's in those main canals and stuff.
So just let us know what you need and keep up the deal and the dealings with the other parishes, because that's going to get us more of that money.
We'll keep y'all posted.
That's what we have to do.
All right, David, again, we like to respond to what Mr. Robert just said. It's been a rough year thus far with COVID and a lot of other stuff, and a lot of things being set back, and here we are with the opportunity to be able to yet move some things forward. So just keep the good work up and keep plowing and keep moving things forward. So.
Yep, we're going
Good
at it
job.
full speed.
Good job, yeah. All right, you have number 9.
Yeah, Bayou, Verret, and Bayou Napoleon all tied together. I got a little report in there for you guys to look at in reference to that project. They looking to try to get us started on LA 70, but we had that storm, so Lafourche Basin Levee Board has been addressing some things in reference to trees down in some of these larger canals and helping their parishes or surrounding parishes as much as they can. So that kind of delayed them, along with some delays in permitting, pipeline, utility lines, power lines. So when they got up on the upper end, they ended up having some problems, or some delays rather, in getting permits to move forward, especially coming around to LA 70 and starting going back the other way, which, we really didn't want them to do that, because you always want to try to keep coming upstream, rather than start here and in the front end. So we're hoping that they kind of get their stuff together and try to get that project at full speed again. And I think we got 2 more miles still left on that project, and that will help us out in our parish where the water discharges out from Bayou Napoleon through St. James. So again, they still need to look at downstream, and I need to get with those guys also and talk to them about downstream issues also. So that's the report on that I'm getting for those guys.
So tell me this, David, I'll be talking with Regina. In the storm process, the storm that, the trees that fell pretty much in some of the canals, I'm not hearing much about it, that we did have many falling, and wasn't a big cleanup for the trees in the canals, stopping up some of those right-of-ways that we have.
Like Purvis said earlier, we had an engineer that was contracted by the parish to do both sides of the river in reference to having a drone fly over and take a look at exactly what we have. I'm not sure, I hadn't really seen the drone footage Yeah, and I tried calling the guy so I can, there's something there that I don't want to look at in reference to the Louisiana Watershed Initiative, but I took a ride out with one of our local farmers, and there are some issues out there in reference to some trees in our canals, and we're looking at trying to address that and get those things taken care of. So, and you know, there's a lot still left to do from that storm. So we're just going to keep pushing until we can get all of those issues addressed.
Well, let's make sure that we do find the worst spots, so to speak, to where we won't have a problem
Yeah.
going forward.
Yeah.
And get some of that stuff cleaned up.
Okay.
So, thank you very much.
You betcha. I think I covered the Catalpa Street. Yeah, we did that a little earlier, but
Yes.
yeah, and that project, can't wait to get started on that. So we won't probably get started on those projects until 2022, sometime in 2022. So
Well, pretty much, you're looking at things the way things are, you got a lot of backup on a lot of stuff. And with the West Ascension, working with a small group, we may need some help from the East Bank with either contracting some people out to get to some of the projects that we have, because it's a delay, so to speak. The storm didn't help us. We already had a lot of stuff that we was working on.
And I think that was,
go along with the storm. We set back on a lot of stuff because you get a lot of calls on when are we gonna get to it. We have a small group, and they're working their butts off.
Yeah.
And doing a good job, and it's just taking a little time. And we're asking the citizens and the people to try and be as patient as possible with us. We are working hard and working toward getting to some of those things that we need to get to. So with that said, thank you again.
okay.
Number 11, report, Ms. Regina Thomas, Supervisor 3, DPW.
First, I want to start by thanking the crew, the West Ascension Drainage Department of Public Works crew, for the amazing hard work that they did during Hurricane Ida. Before the storm, sandbagging, removing debris from ditches and culverts, for sheltering in place at DPW overnight, during and after the storm, cutting and pushing trees from roadways, hauling fuel to generators and assisting handing out tarps, food, and etc. Clearing the major roadways in the parish and the city as well. In the midst of cleaning up debris for Hurricane Ida, the crews jumped right back into action, preparing for Hurricane Nicholas. We were blessed that the storm went the other way. Since the storm, the crews have been working tirelessly doing vegetation debris cleanup. I want to thank East Ascension Drainage, Mr. Benny Bourgeois, Mike Beck, and their crews for assisting West Ascension Drainage with the debris cleanup. I also want to thank the inmate crew for coming in and helping with our sandbags. Our crew is small, but yet we're strong. We've also removed vegetation. We've also done removal of vegetation from roadsides. We've just about wrapped up all of the debris, cleaned up the last spot that we had, which was, we're working with Dustin and OEP. The last location that we had was on Highway 1. We got that debris cleaned up. During the process, we still resumed cutting grass. We were able to get our tractors back. We now have our spray tractor, and we also have a spray truck to where we can spray on the highways with the spray truck and off-road with the spray tractor. Let's see. So we had crew digging, the crews cutting, and then we had another crew that was picking up vegetation, just to keep try to keep up with on top of the work orders that we had going in the system. Got the information from the engineers as well. Okay, we got all of the information from the engineers, what we need to put the culverts to close in, to start working, getting our recycle center set up over at DPW. And I also have a layout I'll give you for that. We went through the work order system. We have all the work orders system cleaned up. We currently have 37 open work orders that we're working on, including what came in for the storm. We got all of that cleaned up. With the main cause that we had coming in was the debris, and some trees that were down, maybe across the ditches and things like that. Just some things that we were able to handle, in the midst of doing what we were doing. And I also have, what I gave you just now was an upcoming project that we have, I think it's a total of 9 work orders in the system that's off of Bocage Drive. And what it is, I've spoke with the mayor, and looking at what needs to be done in this area, it's 4 different subdivisions that combine into that one area. And we want to be able to go in, it's probably about a good 5 days, we can go in and dig the ditches, have the covers blown out and clear those work orders up in the city. So I spoke to the mayor and I asked him we're gonna need a truck driver, an extra truck. He'll provide us with a truck and a flagger and a laborer. We'll provide the operator and 1 dump truck. We'll be able to go through there, get the covers blown out. We do the measurements of the roads to go in and get those work orders done in the city. And that's about it.
And we've still been using the culvert machine, or culvert truck regularly with the East Bank. That's been going well.
Pump truck?
Yeah, the culvert truck to blow out the culverts.
Yeah. It's I think, we had it over here week before last and something happened with it, but we've been able to get it pretty regular to stay on top of the work orders with the covers that need to be blown out.
Okay.
And with this project, I've already spoken to Miss Eileen about it. It'll take us probably about a day to go through and just blow out the covers in that area before we start digging the ditches.
Okay.
So it's not going to be done tomorrow, but that's an upcoming project that we have to make. So.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's it, Mr. Lee?
Hmm?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. This is about the biggest crowd that we've had in such a long time for the West Ascension drainage. And the only reason that you all are here because we are late. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate you all being here. At this time, we have the date and time of the next West Ascension Drainage Board meeting. December 2nd. We have a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Robert, second by Mr. Thomas. This meeting is adjourned.